please unmute. And close. Make sure we're on.
We are on, my man. We are unmuted. Gator fans, thank you for joining us for a live edition of the Talking Gator. As usual, I'm joined by my armchair assistant coach, Donnie B. I'm your fourth-string Monday morning QB, Jay Smith. Before we get into it, don't forget, like and subscribe if you like our show. We do live shows Mondays and Saturdays, about an hour for pregame. We usually here just go over the previous game. That would be Florida's loss to LSU. Donnie B and I are going to talk a little bit about the Missouri game and what's coming up for the Gators. What's next for them? What should we look forward to? What can we expect? So before I get into it, Donnie B, how you doing this evening, sir?
What's up, Jay? I'm doing good, my man. I'm ready to, look at what we could have done better, what we did good, and looking for the next few, see how we're going to play this out for the season. So anticipating a lot. So we'll see how it goes. So let's roll.
Well, let's not waste any time, my man. As everybody knows, countrywide, we fell to LSU 35-52. That takes LSU to 7-3. Is that correct? Yes.
Yep.
We are 5-5, struggling. 2 more games left to get a bowl game. Donnie B and I, we do our booms and busts. So, Donnie, I'm going to allow you to lead this off. The loss to LSU, man, that was hard in Baton Rouge, but let's go ahead and get these booms out of the way because there are some. I know I have a few.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm gonna kind of throw this a little bit different. I'm gonna go into booms from Florida, but there's one boom, number 5 for LSU, Jaden Daniels. I mean, I think he's by far the best player in the country. I think he's Heisman Trophy winner, hands down. If the politics don't get involved in it. Now, what I'm by, does it mean that because they're not really playing for anything, does that affect him? Is there anything really moving forward that's going to affect him? Like, the Texas A&M, they just fired Jimbo. So is that going to mean anything? They get 2 games and nobody's going to be watching those games. So that might hurt him. But by far, Jay, he is the best player I've seen in quite a while that says I'm a quarterback of a team. If it wasn't for him, that team would probably 500 or less. Probably 500 or less. Probably.
I'd agree.
Don't have a crystal ball, but I do. I saw some positive things. I'll go over the first my first is I think the offense. I gave them A plus. Other than the bad call, I still think it was a catch for Khalil Jackson. I still think it was. It was maybe moving a little bit, but like he had control. And everybody talking about the ground can't cause it. You can have control and the ball might touch the ground, but if you have control, I think he had control. So I think it was kind of like a tennis match. Is whoever could hold serve. I think our offense stayed right there with them, Jay.
Oh, yeah.
I think
agreed.
They had their best game of the year, even though it was a loss. I really do. I can't even I'm looking at, we spread it out. Pearsall he was making his cuts, he was catching the ball out in front. I think that we ran the ball real well. I thought our offense, and I thought Graham Mertz had a command of the game. I thought he did great. You go on the road and you get almost 400 yards of offense at LSU. You've done a pretty good. You've had off. They did great. So
I agree.
That's my first boom. I think that we showed a lot of energy in the game. We're dealing with, I was thinking about this, we're dealing with 18 to 22-year-old kids. And they're seeing the stuff on social media. They're hearing a lot of negative stuff, but they're playing, man. They're playing like they want to win. And that's exciting. They're growing up before our eyes. And I thought that was good. And then basically, I didn't see any quit in the team. They played to the last second of the game. They did everything they needed to do. And even though it's an L, Nobody likes these L's, but there were some definitely positives on offense. That's my boom.
Yeah, I'm right along there with you. I love that intensity that they
Mm.
had. I mean, minus the extracurricular stuff after the whistle blew.
Yeah,
Some of that, and I kind of like that too. And I liked how the officials nipped it in the bud the right way. And
right.
they other than that targeting was very questionable to me. I don't think that was targeting. I'm on LSU's side with this one, because they were letting them boys play. They really were, and they were letting the tussle and go on. And the things that they were calling, in my opinion, were things that were just blatant that they had to. I think we got away with a lot of shit, especially in our defensive back units. And I think the refs understood that. They let the rivalry be. They understood it, but I think they understood the
Yeah,
matchups in a couple occasions. So I have a lot of respect for those officials in that sense.
right.
The the two running backs, Etienne and Johnson, man, they were elite Saturday night. They were
Yeah,
elite. I was very careful to watch, excuse me, Trevor in some pass block situations. And he's learned to be a body presence there, learned to get his body, in the right position to make a block because he is small and he is short, so he can gain that leverage. And watching him, you know, somehow take the transition from being a running back to be a body presence in front of a pass rush, I
yeah.
thought there was a little bit of improvement there. But when it came to giving them the ball, that
Yeah.
was spectacular. And the offense, I'm with you, overall hot.
Yeah. Yeah. He was explosive. JE was so explosive. And and not to interrupt your train of thought, but man, he's got more playing time because he's starting to say, I better block if I'm gonna get on the field.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, right.
yeah. And he's, it's really good to watch those two grow and grow together. And I'm gonna echo what I've heard both of them say is they can't wait to have a play with where there is a two back option
Yeah,
where both of them are an option from the backfield. And I think that would be a spectacular route if Billy Napier, because Billy Napier loves the backfield. He's getting the ball out of, he's passing the ball, but a lot of that stuff is backfield stuff. And the announcers made a good point to it because he can control that backfield a little bit more, and I like that. But I think a two back system with them two, there might be something there, might be a package. I I
yeah,
don't. I know our defense. Our defense is okay at best. All right, they've been okay at their best. They're nowhere near close enough to be competing in the SEC. But
right.
my boom, I will give the defense because I have nothing really good to say. I'm going to highlight them more in the busts. But what I will say is the couple drives that the offense did stall earlier in the game, the defense they found a way to step up then, but it was only then. So it was a
Yeah,
couple drives where the offense just wasn't getting in our defense. We saw our defense making stops right there. It was kind of really in the first quarter, and then that kind of died out. So I did like the few stops because
right.
they did keep the game within reach. They put a
Yeah,
lot on our offensive shoulders, but they did give our offense a chance on many occasions. So
yeah.
that's the booms to me. And I think we're in a position where, there are no moral victories. And I hate, stroking this thing anymore. I really want to get to the bus because I am an honest Gator fan and there's a lot to pick apart. And it's not really being crazy because overall, I wish we could have came back within 10 points to watch. I wish we could have capitalized off that last bit and got within 10 points instead of them pulling out another touchdown. But, it is what it is. Those are our booms. I'm going to go into my bust, and then I'll turn the stage over to you, Donnie B. The
Did
penalties
it?
up front on the offense, that's really the only thing I have to say about the offense. There were a few, and again, it's young guys with older, more experienced linemen. You're gonna jump off, right, to try to get the edge. You're gonna hold because these guys are just faster and stronger. So I understand they kind of ate us up a little more today than they did combined the last like 2 or 3 games. So, and then this is probably gonna catch me some flack. I don't like Desmond Watson. I don't think he's. I mean, he's great, but he's not doing anything outside, that one gap. And I even saw a lot of occasions they weren't even double teaming him at this point. It's like he's just. I get what he's there for. We need size, but we still need some type of athleticism. And I'm not completely sold on this guy. He should be someone. He's so big, and he's not that. He's fast for his size. I'm tired of hearing that shit. He's not fast enough, and but if his hand touches you, I mean, he should have you. That's all there should be to it. He's big enough that I don't care who it is. If his hand touches you, if you get within where he can maybe touch you with his elbow, between his elbow and his wrist, you should be done.
Right.
And that's not happening from him. He's not athletic enough to get to the edges. And again,
No,
our linebackers are too small to fill the gaps. But I guess it is what it is. And
he's
I
not a
wanna
D.
I wanna love Kimber. I really do. So I'm not gonna give him a whole lot of heart. He did give up. He's given up some big plays, and they're just wrong timing. And so I want to like him, so I just want him to get better. He's not really taking the weight of a bus. Desmond Watson, he's big enough to take the weight of this bus, buddy.
Yeah. Well, I agree with all that. I'll tell you that Desmond is not. To me, he's never been a D1 player for number one. I mean, look. The cover was so bare that when Dan Mullen got fired, they had to go to something. I mean, I get it. They're doing the best they can with what they're working with. I get it, but we have to call it like it is, right? I mean, he's not playing for anybody else in the SEC. Maybe Vanderbilt, you know. Um, but but the we got my bust. I'm gonna start out with my bust is that I have seen every Gator game this year, and I noticed something yesterday or Saturday that it's just reality, and that's why we are now 5-5 is because the defense has regressed all year long. Every game they give up big plays. They don't know how to tackle. Our linebackers are so small. They're really safeties and DBs. They're not linebackers like we're used to of the Ben Hanks and the
Yeah, and strong safeties at best.
Spikes,
Right.
all the that we had some grown men
Nickel.
back there in defense, and so we're not in a position where we can even say that we have not one NFL prospect on defense, and that's why none of them made SEC first team or second team. I think we had some honorable mention, but it's just the whole thing is just like it's not an SEC caliber defense, and even with the depth, it has regressed. So with that said, we were lost in coverage all night. They were wide open. I mean, we just had no type of consistency on coverages. I mean, period, zero, and that bothered me a lot too. And
You'd
then,
think Napier would reach in the transfer portal for some defense.
well, he did. That's where these came from.
That's where who?
That's where these guys came from. Some of them.
Oh, okay. I
whole
wasn't aware of some of them.
Yeah, I mean, they be brought in. There's like three starters on defensive line that are
I did know that. I did know that. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So and then but that's the biggest. They just regressed, and then they can't cover anybody. And then I want to know what this is. You know what this is? You know what this is? If
What's
I'm
that?
looking in from like I'm looking in my window, out my car window, and I'm looking for, say, a buck or something. What am I doing? I'm like, I'm a spy. I'm
You're
like a spy.
peeping. You're peeping Tom.
I'm a peeping Tom. I'm a spy. Why in the world we didn't spy Jaden Daniels all night? Like, nobody hiding. I was like, look, what'd you call me? I'm an assistant coach, fourth string, fifth
Armchair
string.
assistant coach, yeah.
And I'm sitting there going, where's the spy? I mean, who cares if we can't cover him anyway? And just put pressure on him. Where's the blitz? Where's any pressure on him? Why didn't we just send the house, let him throw it over our heads? He was doing it anyway. We weren't putting any pressure. He was still burning us. So why don't we take a chance?
You know, Donnie, there were a few occasions where we got to him, and I thought, hey, you know, we're to him. We got him. And then with the mixture of his elite talent and our lack thereof, it was like you know, it was like some kid, you know, some small kid coming to the schoolyard, you know, that's smaller,
Yeah.
faster, but he's just dogging everybody and he just slips away from everybody. He's impressive. He's
Well, he
um
is saying, if you got like,
he definitely made our defense look like fools.
and we were
Definitely.
just kind of out for him. It's like we were, I mean, it's like we were walking in slow motion. I went back and looked. I was like, my God, there were some plays where he didn't even get touched. How you not touching? He's got to go through two. He's got to go through two levels. He's got to go through the defensive line. He's got to go through the linebackers, and then maybe somebody down the one
Those
of
are
the
the only
safety.
ones fast enough to catch him.
Well, I mean, they could take angles, man. I mean, come on.
Even I mean, there were even a couple good angles that were taken with um God, what's his name? 17.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Marshall.
Yeah, so
Marshall.
there, you know, he had a couple good angles that it was,
Uh,
you
well,
know, and
that
it really took it would take two Gators. I mean, it took two good angles, and
yeah.
I mean, I guess you kind of chop that up to, you know, good zones or either the man lineups or putting two good angles coming in with defenders, whatever it may be, but um you know, it was other that he. I mean, he was chunking big yards, dude. I mean, he was getting to our last guy. These
So
50 yard. How many 50-yard runs did he have? Like four?
that's not supposed to happen in D1 football. It doesn't happen.
No.
7 yards. He had 200. He had like 250 yards passing, 300 yards rushing, something incredible. I
Yeah, it
mean,
was
no,
ridiculous. And no, and he set
right.
college football history. No other player did what he did that night.
Against our Florida Gators, and he hadn't done it all year long to anybody else.
Well, you take a player like him and you put him up against the worst defense in the SEC, probably almost in the country right now. Then that's going to happen. It's going to happen.
So, just all I know is that right now is that we have a lot of work to do. Hey, look, you know what I'm doing? I'm watching like Texas A&M right now. I'm watching like Mississippi State. Dude, I'm going. I'm sending the checkbook and I'm going to get them dudes. And I'm saying, please come to Gainesville. We'll pay you. We'll pay you. Just come. Just come. You know, we need you, dude. You're at the University of Florida. We got a great offense. If you score over 35 points a game in the SEC and all this OC stuff, we need this and that. If we score 30 to 35 points a game in the SEC, if Urban Meyer would have spent 30, if he just scored that on offense, and Spurrier would have, and even Dan Mullen, and even Matt Muschamp, and even McElwain, most of the time they'd have won that game.
I agree. I agree. With this team, yes.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so I want this team to be successful.
yeah.
So I hope that I hope these are growing pains. I hope that it's something that can be worked on in the off season. And Donnie, honestly, it's not going to take that much improvement.
No,
On the offensive side of the ball, I mean, we're almost there, right? We've got a little bit of work to do with some up front, maybe. Our receivers, I think, can win a championship. Our quarterback can
Yep.
win a championship. I know that our
Yep.
backs can win a championship. We need an offensive line and a defense that
Okay.
that can just slightly improve. If they can slightly improve, we're already a 7-win team this season.
So 3 phases of the game: special teams, offense, and defense. It's 3 phases.
Mm-hmm.
Like we play, I think offense. I would give us an A, probably an A+ right now because we've improved every game.
Yes, sir. A+ for the offense for sure.
I would give us maybe a B-, B+, maybe a B.
A B.
I mean,
B
because we
straight
have
B for special teams.
special teams is good with punting and kicking. It's just that we do brain dead stuff, on special teams that costs games. It has nothing to do with those two positions,
Mm-hmm.
but special teams and needs a little bit of work. But all we need is some players on defense. We need some linebackers. We went and got that kid out of Ohio State, and I know why he transferred because he ain't even getting on the field for Florida right now. That'll tell you something. And I
We
understand
weren't
why he
that
transferred.
good to start with.
He had with those big old stars on his hand. He had the big old stars, as coming into Ohio State. There's a reason why they transfer. But when we have the coaching issues, the coaching carousels get ready to happen, we need to have our people out recruiting like crazy. Because Napier's not going anywhere, people. I'm telling you, it's not going anywhere. It's not
Well,
going anywhere.
I think this is a page on the Talking Gator that's best turned and probably stay turned.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't promise that the next conversation after the break is going to be much better, much lighter, but we're going to have it anyway. That's going to be the matchup at Florida at Mizzou. Currently, they're number 11th. I saw
Yep.
ranks updated. So we'll talk about that right after the break. Don't go anywhere.
Everybody know that I kill it. Everybody know
All right, folks, we're back. We're going to get into our do's and don'ts for Missouri coming up. But before I do, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe. Donnie B, I'm going to shoot to you. What do the Gators need to do to pull off a win in Missouri? Realistically.
Realistically, we just talked about it before the break. They got to get better on all 3 phases of the game. I don't know. I don't know what the defense can do, but I think our offenses do keep the offense. This is what my dues are: keep the offense kind of balanced, running and throwing the football, which they're doing. Protect the football, and something we've done really well this year. We hadn't had a lot of boneheaded turnovers. I mean, I think Grant Merce, that was his reputation coming in, that he was supposed to be this turnover king, and he's really helped us. And I might be like kind of jinxing him, but I'm just saying,
I
so
should have
far,
muted you. Too bad you weren't
off,
muted that time.
what's that?
I said, too bad we weren't muted that time. You
No,
said it. You said it.
that's all right. So, So, and that, hopefully our defense can catch up, and then we can have a solid game. This is going to blow your mind on a do. This is really, you're going to think, wow, you've lost it. You're really getting desperate.
You're good at that.
But we're practicing this week for FSU. Start practicing for FSU this week.
Except what is to be Missouri, just work on FSU.
That's right. Do what you need to win that last game, that home game.
Yeah, totally. I like that idea.
To go ahead, you know how sometimes on the off week, you have your bye week or whatever, you get ready for your opponent and you have 2 weeks to do it. Get ready for FSU right now. Yeah, look, Mizzou is really, really good. I mean, they're you're talking about a portal team. Their coach, he has done an outstanding job bringing in portal guys, just like Norvell did at FSU. It's not about recruiting anymore. Really, it's more about going out and building your team from one year to the next. It's what it's going to be like.
It's just like fantasy anymore. It's like fantasy football, just like the NFL. Just
right.
What can contracts build? What can a contract build for us?
Right. So we're going to get where. Yeah, the way our defensive backs are playing, Jay, I mean, we got to at least try to stay with and be respectful, but I don't see us winning that game, and just try to stay healthy and get ready for the season finale. Hopefully we can get a 6th win. And, a lot of things, you would upset a lot of people if you could win that game. You're at home, and just, this win against Mizzou means absolutely nothing right now. It really doesn't. To me. Okay.
I agree. I mean, it means nothing in the SEC East.
Yeah.
Because Missouri's pretty much got it, right?
Yeah.
So
right.
I guess a win would take it from them. Maybe it would, but not even that, because that would be an interesting. Yeah.
No, they would still finish second and behind Georgia.
Right. Well, I'm just we're all playing for second anyway.
Oh yeah, or third or fourth
Georgia,
or whatever.
Georgia and Alabama are locked in. So
yeah. So that.
That's a great point. You're right. Not that you don't try to go win that game, but you treat that more like a business trip. All right, we're working this week and next week. We got a bye week, and we're taking a business trip.
That's right.
In uniform. That's great. That's a great way to look at that.
Yeah.
I like that.
So that's my deuce, my man.
Cool. Mine for the offense, it's real simple. Is just keep that intensity, keep that improvement, keep improving, keep using these opportunities for and this should be the advice for the offense too, but keep using these opportunities and these many outlets that we have to get boys experience, the backs and this receivers and the tight ends. Let's continue to do that, but let's continue like you said, kind of a point to working towards Florida State. Treat the line the same way. Treat that game as a practice. Treat it as a scrimmage, if you will, for your line. Get some boys in there. Rotate some guys in there and mix it up, kind of like South Carolina did. They shuffled some boys around pregame and used that maybe as a trial period. But for the defense, man, you got to play more consistent. You got to stop the big plays, and I think there were a few big plays that were key big plays, and maybe it's 3 or 4 stops. I listened to the press conference today, and Coach Napier said, it's just one more stop. And although I'd like to believe it was just one more stop, I do believe it was only 2 or 3 more stops, and that's a whole different ballgame that we're talking about. But just these big plays. Stop giving up the big plays. Whether you need to have that spy in the second level. Or you need to get somebody, kind of like a high school team does, just get your best player as the safety. Put your best player, whoever's the fastest and the best on the team, run everybody through the rigor. If it's ETN, it's ETN, whatever it is. Put them back there and just take these chunk plays away. Take these chunk plays. That was too many chunk plays. like I said, I saw at least 4 times, that Jaden Daniels ran 40+ yards on a play. And that's not that shouldn't happen. That shouldn't happen to a Gator defense. I don't care what era we're talking about. I don't care how spoiled we are, in the last 30, 40 years of Gator football. That defense it's unacceptable. They need to get better, and they will get better. I believe they will. I like what's there, and just build on what's there. Maybe you got to reach in the portal. But I believe
Yeah,
some of these guys are on the verge of greatness. Collins, Wingo, Uman and Kimber. These are some names that, if next year they're going to be making big plays, because they're putting in the work, and we need to surround them with some more help, especially up front, especially in
right.
the backfield. I'm gonna roll right into my don'ts, Donnie B.
Do it. Do it.
Defense, don't put such a heavy weight on the offense's shoulders. Complement what they're trying to do. Don't make them go out every drive to get points back. All right, send them out there to keep us ahead. A couple big, I saw you do it. I saw our defense do it. They did it 4th and goal. They got stops. We can do it. Do it. Treat every play like a red zone. Every defensive play is a red zone defense, right? Why not? Why not treat every play like a red zone defense? More than 80% of plays happen within 20 yards. Treat it that way. And the offense, just don't let those lines penalties chip non-playing yards. It's that simple for me. Donnie B, what are your don'ts? I think we got a frozen Donnie B. Or he's sleeping. Yeah, that's definitely a frozen Donnie B. Before we get back to him, let me go ahead and mention our live show, pregame show Friday. Oh, look at me. There's my screen capture. How are you guys? Live Saturday, pregame show. It's going to be an hour before kickoff, probably around that UT Georgia halftime show. Oh, Donnie B's trying to come back in. Let's get him back in. That way you don't have to see 2 of me. But don't forget, catch that. That's going to be live Saturday pregame. Donnie B, welcome back. Can you hear me?
Yes. Sorry, I froze up. Technology, man. I don't know what happened.
You're good. You can take it right back over. Go ahead.
Well, my don'ts basically, I want to kind of think about what we are. So, as a whole, not just a football team, but don't forget these guys. Don't forget who you are, who you represent. Okay. So, don't just go out there and say, okay, I got a couple of games left or whatever. Don't forget that you are representing Gator Nation. Gator Nation. And when you say Gator Nation, there's Gators in Washington State, California, Texas, Colorado, New York. So Gator Nation is truly all over the nation. Don't forget that. Don't forget who you represent. But most of all, don't forget you're representing yourself. All right. You are an individual. You signed the dotted line to play for the University of Florida just because it's been a growing pain year. And yeah, there's lots of good things to look at. A few bad things, mainly on the defensive side of the ball, and a few blunders or whatever. But just remember that when you put on that University of Florida uniform that no other kids dream to do, that will never have that opportunity, make the best out of it. Play your heart out the next 2 games. Go to look at film, listen to your coaches, try to be the very best you can for Gator Nation. And my last don't is don't get yourself in a situation where you forget that you're putting tape out as well. Mm-hmm. Every kid here is putting out tape. They're putting it out if they want to go to the NFL, because scouts are looking for that, right? They're putting out tape for their coaches to see how well they're fighting and playing for the University of Florida Gators. And so just don't forget who you are, who you represent. And
like Mufasa.
If you if you do those things, it's going to benefit you in the long run because they're going to say, "Wow, there's no quitting that kid. He could have quit several times and he didn't. He's fighting because he loves the University of Florida. They wants to play for the University of Florida." So all these kids have a challenge still. No, they're not playing for a whole lot. Yeah, they're playing to be bowl eligible, but I'm just saying, just play just because you love the game. I mean, Jay, would you just imagine what it would be like for me and you as an 18 to 20-year-old kid to be able to come out of that tunnel with 90,000 people screaming, huh?
Kind of a
What would you
swamp.
do?
Yeah. Oh my God.
What would you do to have that feeling, that opportunity? What would you do?
Well,
How, I mean,
obviously, anything less than actually putting in the work to do it.
right. Okay. All right.
Because I haven't. I mean, but you know,
But
it is. If I thought that was something that I could work to do in 2 months or 3 months, no doubt,
yeah,
no doubt.
right. But I'm just saying, as a teenage kid out of high school,
To
you
have
go
that
to
opportunity, it's second to none.
can't even find just that opportunity. Not imagine to take all your experience to do something special like score a touchdown or block a field goal or make a tackle or whatever like that in front of 90,000 people. But then just think about what it would be like just to have the opportunity as a kid just to be able to put a Gator uniform on,
I know, right?
whether you are a dummy or whatever, just a picture to put on your wall of your office and say, look, man, that was me, dude.
There you go.
I was a walk on. So it means something to be able to play for Gator Nation, my man. It means something. And with meaning something, that becomes expectations come about, right? But you have yourself to examine, you have your team to worry about, and you have Gator Nation that's behind you. Go have fun, but don't forget you are putting out tape every minute that you are, whether you're doing pregame or you're in game or even post game. You're showing Gator Nation how much you love them.
Well, I completely agree, and that's a fine point to what I was going to go into next is about what's next for the Gators, and I don't want to complicate it more than what you just said and what you said earlier about focus on Florida State. Let's put in the 2 weeks towards one team instead of trying to jump two teams and losing to both. Let's maybe focus on this last one, get a bowl, make a statement in the swamp, make a statement to the nation, really. I mean, if Louisville don't hand them one, or I'm sorry, who they have this week?
Who's that?
Florida State.
Florida.
So anyhow, it's probably weak. And what better way to make a statement and go out the season by getting your bowl, beating an undefeated team, taking them 11-1, making them go 11-1. I think that's the best way to sum up what's next for the Gators. Folks, don't forget, we're going to do a pregame live. That's going to be during the UGA UT halftime Saturday, November 18th. It'll be about 5 p.m. Donnie B, where are you watching the game Saturday night?
My man, I'm going to be just what I'm doing right now, sitting in this armchair.
There you go.
Just wanting to get a chance to make a play. You know what I mean?
I don't know about you, but I don't like going places to watch games. I'm not a big fan of sports bars. They can be great environments at times, but they're only great environments when you're winning. And right now, kind of win or lose, I want to go either nuts in my. I mean, I went nuts a lot of times the other night. I really did. I lost my cool a few times and excitement, good excitement, and
Jay.
But there's no better place to be a loser, and that's just at home.
I want to bring something up that's very important that I feel like that sometimes we get sold some fool's gold is our media. Our media tells us, like, they don't say you're young and you're developing and you're building your team. They're telling you that you have all these outstanding players and your coach is not getting through to them and they're not doing what they're told and all that kind of stuff. Instead of saying, Billy Nate, he's very organized and he's going to have a great recruiting class. That's another concern to have, is hold your recruits together. Just go Gator Nation. You're playing your Gators. You're playing for your recruits. You're playing for your foundation. You got to keep that in mind too. But when you've got a situation where, we just have to be more understanding of what our coach is doing, and the media tells us we should be at this level or whatever like that, when we know the eye test tells us we're not there yet, right? And so we read the media and it says, you've got this player who's going to be an NFL prospect, this, and this, and this. And, why did we lose that game when we should have, we played 6 or 7, 8 ranked teams ahead of us this year? I mean, there should be a lot of reality. Now, when they said we were going to win 3 games, I was like, there's no way we're going to win more than 3 games. And we have. But, the media, fool's gold, drink the Kool-Aid, whatever you want to call it, sometimes they put that because they're selling stories. Reality, we're very, very young, and we have a long way to go.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. We're going to pump this in the locker room, and for old time's sake, why don't you close us out with 60 seconds of motivation for our Gators? I'll turn it over to you, and we'll close the show, buddy. Go ahead.
Well, I'm not saying we don't go win the game at Missouri, okay? I'm just saying we got to start putting some time in for the finale in Gator Country, in the swamp, in front of our fans. Just go win. You want to win every time you're out there. But we got to have a commitment from the special teams to the defense and the offense to be able to go out there and do the very best best job that they can do. Stay in, do their position. It takes 11 on both sides of the ball. Don't try to do somebody else's job. Do your job. We got out of our gap so much against LSU. It was driving me crazy. I don't know what it was like, a flag football team. And we just got to do a better job of staying in the moment and also staying with the game plan. I think offense has done that, but we've been so erratic on defense. We just got to do a better job with that. But I believe in the Gators. I bleed orange and blue. I think we can win every time the ball's hiked, every time the ball's kicked, every time the ball's thrown, every time there's celebration in the end zone, when we win and when we sing our alma mater at the end of the game. I believe it. And I believe if we do those things and we understand that Missouri's just got 11 guys on the other side of the ball, I think we have a very good chance. Just relax, go have fun, do everything you can to eliminate the mistakes, and then see what the score is at the end of when there's zeros on the end of the fourth quarter. That's all we can do.
And that's a wrap. Hit them with a Go Gators, Donnie.
Go Gators, baby.